'Tis the season, the most wonderful time of the year, celebration with friends and family. It's time to pay tribute to this jolly month, so join us as we get into the Christmas spirit. You've heard of Elf on the Shelf, but this is Venom on the Shelf.
Hello and welcome to Venom on the Shelf. 31 days celebrating this festive period, but unfortunately there's not really many other Christmas films in this book, so I'm scraping the bottom of the barrel with Disney films and family films that are usually shown this time of year. Lion King? Greatest Disney film of all time? We'll see.
Good luck.
The Lion King, set in Africa, follows a king lion, imagine that, called Mufasa, voiced by James Earl Jones, with his young son Simba, voiced by Jonathan Taylor Thomas, who, believe it or not, was a pretty big deal in the 90s. Actually, a really underrated actor.
The chances of this one being malignant are next to nothing.
How could you not tell me about this?
Because I didn't want you freaking out, okay?
Oh, so instead I read about it on a computer sitting in the school library all by myself.
Your mom and I, that's the last thing we wanted you to do. I'm really sorry about that, and she will be too, okay?
Why does this bad stuff always have to happen to me?
I know you're scared, I know how you feel.
No, you don't. I don't want to die, Dad.
Oh, come on. No, you're not going to die. Even if you had cancer, which you don't, you do not have that. It's a treatable kind, okay?
Shocked, aren't you? So was I.
You have no idea.
There's also an annoying mandrill called Zazu, voiced by Rowan Atkinson, who's basically Simba's Jiminy Cricket. Timon and Pumbaa, voiced by Nathan Lane and Ernie Sabella, respectively. Simba's evil uncle Scar, voiced by Jeremy Irons. Some annoying hyenas, one of which is voiced by Whoopi Goldberg. And a wise Yoda-like baboon called Rafiki, voiced by the recently passed away Robert Guillaume. I think that's how you pronounce it. Either way, I have to say, amazing list of cast for this movie.
Isn't it great?
Anyway, Simba is next in line to become king, but Scar has other plans, causing his brother's death and blaming Simba, who then flees the kingdom in shame and guilt, being discovered and raised by Timon and Pumbaa, growing up to become Matthew Broderick. Poor guy.
It'd be so weird.
Before being reunited with his childhood friend Nala, voiced by Moira Kelly. They end up a couple. She convinces Simba to return to the kingdom and face Scar once and for all. The concept of the film actually came about in 1988 whilst on a plane to Europe to promote the Disney movie Oliver and Company. The vice president of Disney at the time loved the idea and planning soon began, wanting to spend time on plot devices of aging, death, even politics and their own personal life experiences. The original title was King of the Beasts and then King of the Jungle, but the first idea was vastly different. Originally, it was a war between lions and baboons, with Scar leading the latter, Rafiki being a cheetah, just like my ex.
We're really sorry.
And Timon and Pumbaa being Simba's childhood buddies, but Simba was also going to be a lazy and horrible character, just like my ex.
I'm very disappointed in you.
And originally, Scar wasn't even related to Mufasa, and that wasn't added until later on. Many even still dispute this and claim they're not really related, despite the characters clearly saying brother and uncle, but hey ho, people are dumb. But just to give you an idea of how dark the original story was, when Nala discovers Simba as an adult, it was because Scar made a sexual pass at her, and when she declined his advances, he sent her far, far away out of the kingdom. It was dropped to avoid publicising sexual harassment claims. Yeah, good call, good call.
You don't know how much this will mean to everyone.
This has all changed, but after Thomas Schumacher finished up work on The Rescuers Down Under, he too joined the production in 1990. George Scribner from the aforementioned Oliver and Company was set to direct alongside Roger Allers from Beauty and the Beast, but the two constantly clashed, leading to Scribner leaving the project after just 6 months. Rob Minkoff came on board with producer Don Hahn, who found the script unfocused, lacking a clear story, and decided he wanted to have it based around leaving your childhood behind to face the harsh realities of the world. The story was retweaked again, and the title was also changed to the one we all know and love. This would be the first ever animated Disney film to be a completely original story rather than an already existing piece of work. Well, allegedly. The writers have admitted they were inspired by the lives of Joseph and Moses, and even Shakespeare's Hamlet. Furthermore, there were also similarities to ancient Egyptian mythology, specifically the Osirian myths. I won't bore you with the details, but go read up on it, they're damn near identical. But to add to the list, it's also very similar to a little story in Western Africa of the Niger-Congo family called Sandiada, an epic of Old Mali. The main character is banished from his homeland after his father dies, before returning to battle the evil king. It's It's more than just a little similar, let's just say that.
I think you're a little confused.
Unfortunately, this also led to many controversies as the film is very similar to a 1960s Japanese anime called Jungle Emperor or Kimba the White Lion. It was so similar, Matthew Broderick even believed he was starring in an American remake of the story since he was a fan of the original. The director of The Lion King, Roger Allers, however, denies ever seeing the show or even knowing of the story. The whole time I worked on The Lion King, the name of that show never even came up, at least I had never heard of it. I had never seen the show and really only became aware of it as Lion King was being completed and someone showed me images of it. I worked with George Scribner and Linda Wolverton to develop the story in the early days, but then left to help out on Aladdin. If one of them were familiar with Kimba, they didn't say. Of course it's possible. Many story ideas developed and changed along the way, always just to make our story stronger. I could certainly understand Kimba's creators feeling angry if they felt we had stolen ideas from them. If I'd been inspired by Kimba, I would certainly acknowledge my inspiration. All I can offer is my respect to those artists and say that their creation has its loyal admirers and its assured place in animation history. I was also unfamiliar with the show, and I know for a fact that Kimba had never been discussed as long as I was on the project. In my experience, if Disney becomes aware of anything like that, they say you will not do it. People are claiming copyright infringement all the time. Don't I know it?
I guess so.
Whenever a story is based in Africa, it's not unusual to have characters like a baboon, a bird, or hyenas. There are rumours over the years that the artists of Kimba were paid by Disney to keep quiet about the plagiarism, but Yoshiro Shimuru, who created Kimba the White Lion, denied these claims entirely, but did admit he refused to sue them because they were such a small and weak company there would be no point going up against Disney, who are one of the biggest in the world. The script went through more rewrites over the months, with more comedy being added for Timon and Pumbaa, and the songs were written by Tim Rice, who worked together with the screenwriters, but this production took a backseat to Pocahontas. You see, the animators focused more on that feature, believing it would obviously be the more successful of the two. Many animators found this story not very good, and some even confessed that nobody would want to watch it. Well, they showed us.
Thanks for your help.
In fact, the animation took so long, the famous Stampede sequence took 3 years to animate alone. Oh, and to ruin your childhoods even more, the death scene was originally even longer and more intense, but after a few preview screenings, kids burst into tears uncontrollably, so they decided to tone it down a bit. Yeah, good idea. Take it easy, man. Who upset you?
Wow.
In fact, this is the only Disney animated film where the villain kills someone on screen. Usually they're all off, but this one cuts all the nonsense and just goes all out, not giving a damn. Originally, Sean Connery was considered for the part of Mufasa, as was Timothy Dalton and even Liam Neeson, who turned it down. I want to see that version.
I don't know who you are. I don't know what you want. If you are looking for Simba, I can tell you, there's not much meat on him.
Tim Curry, James Caan, Robert Duvall, Malcolm McDowell, and Ray Liotta were considered for the part of Scar, and that one sounds badass as well. For as long as I can remember, I've always wanted to be a lion. Weirdly, Cheech and Chong were also going to play Timon and Pumbaa, but the schedules conflicted and it just couldn't be done. Side note, Joe Pesci was even offered the part of Timon, but he too couldn't commit. There's an image.
Gee, he looks blue.
I'd say brownish gold.
I'm funny how? I mean funny like I'm a clown, I amuse you. I make you laugh. I'm here to fucking amuse you.
The role of Zazu also came close to being given to Tim Brooke Taylor, Graham Garden, Bill Oddie, David Jason, Peter Cook, Dudley Moore, Spike Milligan, Ronnie Barker, Ronnie Corbett, and Vic Reeves, and the part of Simba's mum was considered for Virginia McKenna, Helen Mirren, and Vanessa Redgrave. The Lion King was finally released on June the 15th, 1994 and earned a ridiculous $968.4 million worldwide, making it the 29th highest grossing film ever and the 7th highest grossing animated film in history. In fact, it was the highest grossing animated film until 2010 when Toy Story 3 finally beat it, but it does still remain the highest grossing 2D animated movie in history and was even the favourite animated film of movie legend Gregory Peck. It's a superbly drawn animated feature. The saga of Simba, which in its deeply burdened origins owes something to Greek tragedy and certainly to Hamlet, is a learning experience as well as an entertainment. It's an impressive, almost daunting achievement. The film is spectacular in a manner that has nearly become commonplace with Disney's feature-length animations, but it seems to be so Shakespearean in tone, epic in scope, that it seems to be more appropriate for grown-ups than for kids. Even then, if truth be told, even for adults, it is downright strange. The film has the resonance to stand, not just as a terrific cartoon, but as an emotionally pungent movie. It's a hugely entertaining blend of music, fun and eye-popping thrills, though it doesn't lack for heart. With each new animated release, Disney seems to be expanding its already broad horizons a little more. The Lion King is the most mature in more than one sense of these films, and there clearly has been a conscious effort to please adults as much as children. Happily for those of us who generally stay away from cartoons, they have succeeded. The Lion King is technically proficient and entertaining, but it offers a less memorable song score than did the previous hits and a hasty, unsatisfying dramatic resolution.
You're fucking high! Are you out of your mind?
Despite its good animation, the story feels like it's manipulating our responses at will. Between traumas, the movie serves up soothingly banal musical numbers and silly rambunctious comedy.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
The Lion King scooped up 2 Golden Globes for Best Original Score and Best Musical, as well as 2 Oscars for Best Original Score from Hans Zimmer and Best Original Song for... Which is impressive because Elton John, who wrote the number, attended a special advance screening for the picture and it was completely cut out of the film. It was even intended to be used as a duet between Timon and Pumbaa, but he lobbied hard for it to be put back in different context. It won, and the Academy Award came along with his efforts. Also, Hans Zimmer was reluctant to sign on for a kids film, but he became so invested in the story, he loved doing it and would later call it one of the best moments of his entire career. This was also one of only 3 Disney films to win a Golden Globe for Best Motion Picture, along with Beauty and the Beast and Frozen. It picked up a Kids' Choice Award for Favourite Film that year, and Empire ranked it as the 319th greatest movie in history. Time listed it as the #1 best animated film ever. The American Film Institute picked it as the 4th best animated feature of all time with the song
Hakuna Matata
as the 99th best, and Channel 4 listed it as the 6th greatest family film in cinema history. In addition to the previously mentioned controversies, further issues arose when people believed the word sex is actually spelled out in the sky. People even believing it's a subliminal message to promote promiscuous sex, but it was clearly an Easter egg nod at the special effects team. Like, that's clearly an F. They claim it's an F. It is clearly an F. Get your mind out of the gutter. But the ridiculousness stretches even further when you discover that hyena biologists were so angry at the film's inaccurate depiction of the creatures that they actually sued Disney Studios for defamation of character. Some people need to get laid.
It's awful, isn't it?
Okay, so I guess the closest opinion I can echo is Gene Siskel, but I still disagree with him to a certain degree. The Lion King is a great movie in my mind, but I do think it's held on quite a high pedestal that I don't really agree with. I mean, I think the likes of Toy Story, Wreck-It Ralph and Beauty and the Beast are all better, but that doesn't dent this film's awesomeness. It really is spectacular. The animation is absolutely gorgeous, the musical numbers are mostly catchy, and the characters really come to life, especially Timon and Pumbaa. As a kid, they were my favourite part, and I'm probably not alone there. They are hilarious.
Hakuna Matata?
Yeah, it's our motto.
What's the motto?
Nothing. What's the matter with you?
I also really dig Scar as a bad guy. Everything he says is so deadpan serious, even when he's saying something completely patronising and hilarious.
Hey, Uncle Scar, when I'm king, what'll that make you?
A monkey's uncle.
I legit laughed at that for about 10 minutes straight. And yes, I will commend the sheer bravery of this picture. Not only does it have insanely dark visuals, but the death scene is so intense and emotional for a kid's film, it's unreal. Sure, Bambi's mum took a bullet in the face, but we never see her again. This film cuts all of that and just says, look at Mufasa's dead corpse. Look kids, he's dead. How do you like that? I don't think it's as sad as Toy Story 3, but it is definitely emotional, and the music really gets you involved, and it hits you in the feels. It works, okay? Okay, guys, I admit it works. It gets you. Mufasa's dead. This comes into play even more when Simba is finally reunited with his mother towards the end. It really is emotional and brings any grown adult to tears in a heartbeat. The comedy is all around great from everybody involved. I truly believe it's a film that can be enjoyed by children and adults alike. Simba is also really likeable. As a kid, he does brag about becoming king one day and rubs it in Scar's face like an arrogant little douche, but it's exactly what a kid would do. He doesn't mean anything by it. It's completely natural behaviour. The romance is also handled really well. They are adorable together. They build on the love. It's not thrown together randomly like a lot of other romances in Disney films. It's well done and you really care for the couple's relationship. You also have really inspirational dialogue that I feel gets forgotten about. It's such a mature style for a kids film and features really motivational lines.
Ow! Jeez, what was that for?
It doesn't matter. It's in the past.
Yeah, but it still hurts.
Oh, yes, the past can hurt. But the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it. Ah! You see?
When they finally show down, the direction complemented with the amazing animation is tremendous. The camera circles them as Scar accuses Simba of murdering his father, and it's so expertly done. It's masterful, as is the final fight. But here's the part where everyone hates me because I point out what's wrong with it and everyone thinks it's serious and don't understand, that it's just for a laugh and the nitpicks are part of the joke. The same people who hate cinema sins. Makes no sense. So, Honest Trailers pointed it out, so I'm going to as well. Why do the animals celebrate the birth of Simba? You know he could end up eating you, alright? Okay, I actually do dislike the casting choice of James Earl Jones. Don't get me wrong, he's got an amazing voice and he's a great actor, but every time Mufasa speaks, I just picture this huge black man. Liam Neeson would have been better.
Dad, don't we eat the antelope?
Yes, Simba, but let me explain. When we die, our bodies become the grass, and the antelope eat the grass. And so, we are all connected in the great circle of life.
What? No. No, your nonsense explanation doesn't make sense. You're lions, you would eat them all. What am I trying to find logic in an animated film with talking lions? The hyenas are a complete rip-off of the vultures in the Jungle Book. They are literally the exact same characters. I mean, they do it again later when Timon and Pumbaa teach Simba to eat bugs, ripping off the same film again. It's just unoriginal. In fact, how does Simba even grow to be so strong when he is literally shown as just eating bugs for all these years? He's a lion who requires certain foods for the primary diet. His fangs wouldn't be as sharp and he wouldn't be as strong. In fact, how does he even take on Scar at the end? He has had no training, no history with hunting. He's been Hakuna Matataing it for years, yet he comes back and manages to have a fair fight with Scar, who's been hunting for years.
But you're not scared of anything.
I was today.
You were?
Yes. I thought I might lose you.
Oh no, I'm fine, but you're screwed. See you at the death scene. Hakuna Matata.
Come on, Uncle Scar.
No. This is just for you and your daddy.
Ew. Why doesn't Scar just kill Simba instead of letting him run away and have the possibility of surviving? I mean, Scar's whole plan is to become king. If he eliminates Simba, he has 100% chance of doing that. Letting him go, there's still a possibility in not becoming king. This is just a stupid move. I mean, he had no problems killing his brother, but he draws the line at his nephew. In fact, he asks his hyena friends to kill him instead. Why? It makes no sense. And why does everybody just accept Scar's word that Simba is dead? He has Mufasa's body for evidence, but there's no proof of Simba dying. They should accept the word of this evil-looking lion and move on with their day.
Slimy yet satisfying.
Like my penis. I'm also not a big fan of Matthew Broderick taking over. I just don't think the guy can act, and his voice acting even sucks. As soon as Taylor Thomas leaves, I care less about Simba. He can't even make an animated lion sound convincing. Okay, I guess that would be difficult to pull off, but shut up!
I've got a lovely bunch of coconuts, dee-dee-dee-dee. There they are, standing in a row. Big one, small one, some as big as your head.
This isn't funny. And it rips off Ghost. How the hell does Rafiki know that Simba's alive? Because he does voodoo? Because in that case, he should know that Scar killed Mufasa and should probably tell someone, but he never does. Rafiki even tells Simba that his father is alive, only to reveal he's not really. Well, that's really cruel, actually. Seriously, Rafiki, you're a douchebag for that. But even then, why did it take you so many years to tell him this anyway?
A terrible actor.
Ah, you ain't
Yup.
for some bacon.
Yup.
He's a big pig.
Yup.
You can be a big pig too. Fine.
This isn't funny. And doesn't this rip off Adam Sandler on Saturday Night Live?
Red Hooded. Dip.
Lion King is ripping off Adam Sandler on Saturday Night Live. I think the film is great, but I do believe it's a tad overhyped. It's great, but best Disney film ever? I actually think it's quite forgettable at points. I mean, I went decades without rewatching Toy Story or Beauty and the Beast, and I still remembered so many characters and quotes. When I came back to revisit this, there were so many things that I'd completely forgotten about. Mufasa dying was really the only memorable part for me, except Timon and Pumbaa, but that was because of their own spin-off show that followed more than this movie. It's great, but yeah, I think it's overrated.
An overrated movie? What an arrogant phrase. An overrated movie is all I have to say. I mean, it's decent, but we ain't kidding ourselves. It's not that good, you see. It's not Beauty and the Beast, an overrated movie.
The film was such an insane hit, it followed by countless video games, stage adaptations, the aforementioned Timon and Pumbaa spin-off show. A sequel followed in 1998, which was okay. It was a solid little film, but not as charming as the original. A prequel then followed in 2004 called Lion King 1.5, based on Timon and Pumbaa meeting each other. And in 2014, a new TV series was announced called The Lion Guard, taking place before Lion King 2 Simba's Pride, and it was premiered on the Disney Channel in late 2015. Furthermore, after the success of the live-action CGI Fest remake of The Jungle Book, it was announced in September of 2016 that a remake of this classic would also follow. James Earl Jones returning as Mufasa, Donald Glover as Simba, and Beyoncé was even the first choice to play Nala, but she couldn't commit due to her pregnancy. Selfish cow.
You don't deserve to live.
In April of 2017, Billy Eichner and Seth Rogen were confirmed to voice Timon and Pumbaa, John Oliver as Zazu, and by the end of July 2017, Beyoncé was confirmed to play Nala and even contribute to the soundtrack as well. And to top it off, Chiwetel Ejiofor was cast as Scar, Alfred Woodard as Simba's mum, and John Carney as Rafiki, with Hans Zimmer even returning to do the musical score once again, and the film is scheduled for release on July the 19th, 2019. But despite my problems with it and my thoughts that it's kind of overhyped, it's easily in the top 10 best Disney films. There are better, but it's still a damn good film. Funny, charming, emotional, and a historic film for all the family to enjoy. And that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video and want to see more, I'm reviewing every film in the 1001 Movies You Must See Before You Die 2016 edition book, so make sure you subscribe to keep up to date with them and also turn on notifications to be alerted for each episode. You can vote for which film to be reviewed next at the link in the description. What do you think of The Lion King? Let me know about it in the comments below, and I'll see you in the next video. I've been dying to go toilet for this whole video, and now I can finally go.